Good morning from New York City, Brooklyn, New York. And I just want to restate again at the outset of this video the intention of these daily meditations. I apologize, first of all, for those who've been reaching out to me on Bitwine and that I haven't been returning emails. I just found it, the prospect of reading in general right now, to be a little challenging, the idea of it. I know our lives are continuing despite the shelter in place, despite the quarantine, but I will get there. So thank you for your patience. What I do think we can all do is focus on what we can do with these next 24 hours. I think we are given what we need, no matter what, to get through these next 24 hours. And so that is this daily meditation. The format is to read each line and prompt you with some questions to ask yourself in terms of how things you may want to work through. When I shuffle, I asked what is best, how can I best serve the collective today? What messages are there for the collective? And here we go. And for those of you who've been watching potentially from the beginning, there's a lot of repeaters here, so the message is loud. And we'll start at the top. We have the Page of Pentacles. Oh, and I should just say, super homemade video right now. No equipment other than my iPhone. I'm waiting for equipment from Amazon, but in New York City, everything's about 2 months out. So, Page of Pentacles. Again, Ace of Cups. Again, Eight of Cups. So I found it interesting that, first of all, these messages are repeating. So someone needs to hear this. It's loud. The Ace of Cups and the Eight of Cups were both here yesterday. So we have the Page of Pentacles here. Pentacles are an earth sign. It's an earth, so tangible things, money, possessions, and it makes sense in terms of showing up today. And I think it's a little bit louder of a message with the new moon in Taurus happening yesterday evening into today, depending on where you are in the world. And it's, pages are just starting to learn how to work with these energies. So, and again, the Ace of Cups, new emotional beginning, and the Eight of Cups, walking away from something we love, an attachment. So I think it's starting to crystallize here, the energy and the issues that we are to be focusing on at this moment in time. And again, it is about this moment in time, this new moon. It's a new beginning, new energy coming in Taurus, earth sign. But it really is, I think there's, I don't know, I'm just starting to learn about the astrological aspects and how they really do interweave quite nicely with readings. And so I'm starting to learn. I'm by no means an astrologer, but the little I know is that this new moon is slightly different. It's in an earth sign. There's some kind of square with Uranus, but what I've read about it is essentially, and it's very much echoed here in this first line, is letting go of those things that attach us. The new moon is going to prompt us to want to plan and control and think about how we're managing our finances, building things, planning things. But this current kind of climate, is that really possible? I mean, a lot of what we're going through is utterly out of our control, which I think is very contrary, from what I understand, to earth signs, fixed signs, wanting that control. So the new beginning and the walking away, I think, is now telling us very clearly. Yesterday we had the moon, it wasn't entirely clear, is letting go of that control, letting go of that need to plan, being in this moment in time rather than in a spreadsheet, because all we have are the next 24 hours. Is maybe quaint as that sounds, but it's really true. So the new beginning is walking away from these attachments to control. So what can you do today to surrender? Next line, King of Swords, Temperance, Queen of Pentacles. And what this is telling me is we're quickly mastering this surrender, right? The Queen of Pentacles, if we're keeping in the energy of the new moon, the Queen, the page is graduated to the Queen in terms of a figure that is learning how to deal with these earthly things, these tangible things. But I was noticing when I dealt this card that Temperance, this figure has just the toe in the water. We're just going to start this practice of being in the present. Noticing this too in the background. So that was interesting. I see things differently when I look through the camera than if I am not using the camera. Kind of dig that. But we're just dipping our toe in the water, and we're quickly mastering this this surrender. This figure is this angel is like almost levitating. This water is easily flowing back and forth. This balance of control and surrender, control and surrender. Because this is our, I think this stands in contrast to who we maybe want to be. The King of Swords is sword, thought, air, complete control, pretty much a badass, right? And that may be our default kind of go-to position for some of us, or this could actually represent an authority figure. Challenges with, actually can represent legal challenges, challenges with authority. Maybe you're having challenges with people in your household, feeling like they have control. And we're just dipping our toe in the idea that, I can only control my own feelings, my own thoughts, and surrendering, and very quickly moving to the mastery of just holding on to this moment. I'm going to read this slightly differently because of the new moon. So I'm going to read this as holding on to this moment, this Taurus new moon moment. So how do you get there? How do you quickly master surrender? Is it meditation? Is it prayer? Is it finding a time of day that you can actually go for a walk in some solitude? Is it purely internal? Is it taking a nap? Is it allowing yourself to take this time that you may never get again? This type of time where we can truly focus on ourselves. And lastly, we have the Sun again. New card, Two of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles. So what do you say about the Sun? I love that we talked yesterday about how things look different in the light of the moon versus the daylight. Well, April 23rd, the daylight is here. What do you see differently if you're practicing these daily meditations? What did you discover yesterday? What was the conflict, and how does it look to you today when you practice this surrender and understanding that we don't really have control of this moment other than what we think, how we act, and what we do? What shines differently today with that lens? Two of Wands is about, I think the word initiation is just what jumps out immediately. I'm looking out onto the horizon. I'm starting something. Twos are often about choices, crossroads, beginnings. Wands, fire energy, initiation, actual movement into starting something new. So what is that for you? What does that look like for you in this light of day, in this moment, if you took yesterday as a moment of pause and reflection, what can you do today to, I guess, better serve what you're learning about yourself? I know I'm personally seeing some things I like and seeing a lot I don't like about my behavior and my habits and my patterns. How can I change those? Tuesdays are beginnings, so maybe make a list today of goals. New moons are great for setting intentions. What are your intentions for the next 24 hours and let's say the next month? Understanding that we don't have a lot of control over much than ourselves. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. I love how the Pentacles and the Taurus themes really continue to repeat on every line. And this is about mastery, right? This character is quickly mastering and enjoying his toil of creating these pentacles, but he's the master craftsman, right? What can you master in this moment? What do you want to master in this moment? And how are things looking differently today in the light of day? And now we get to see the Wheel of Fortune again. In very different Wheel of Fortune, right, than what we saw yesterday in terms of there's no basket maker, there's no crown being offered. How I typically describe this card, so I can talk about it, right? We have these markings on the wheel, and they're points of time in our life. Some are called beautiful, some are called tragic. But each one of them is a lesson. And the wheel keeps spinning. And the lessons, unless we listen to them, will repeat and repeat and get louder and louder until we listen and until we learn. It's in our soul's contract with this lifetime to learn certain lessons. So what is being shown to you? What is being repeated? I mean, at least in this reading, we're repeating Ace of Cups, Eight of Cups, walking away from attachments. The sun is coming out quite a lot. Again, some of them are dark times. We have this kind of shadow figure and this serpent. But then we have these angelic creatures at the top, holding books. What are we learning? This Sphinx holding a sword, our thoughts. What are we learning about ourselves? What lessons keep showing up in our lives? And how are they changing? And are they getting louder? And are we listening? And are we learning? I take this card very seriously, insofar as the lessons really can get quite challenging if we don't pay attention. I'll say that from maybe I'm projecting my own experience, but this is also the 10th card of the major arcana. We are coming to the end. If we look at the Wheel of Fortune from yesterday, in the Victorian Romance Tarot, it was a very positive spin on it, right? It was, this man is being offered a crown. This lowly basket maker is being offered a crown to become a king. So how is the wheel spinning in your life? What are the positive opportunities coming to you, and what maybe are the negative opportunities that keep showing up, and how can we do things differently? So I think that's enough to digest for the next 24 hours. I really do appreciate you being here. Enjoy your 24 hours. Thanks for stopping by. Know you are loved, and we'll talk soon.